Brown Fabio is back. Now here's my intro. Brown Fabio is back saying stupid shit. Now watch my intro. Now here's my intro. Now watch my intro. Now here's my intro. Now here's my... Brown Fabio is back saying stupid shit. Now here's my intro. Shit. Now here's my intro. Stupid shit. Now here's my intro. Shit. Now here's my... Now here... Saying stupid shit. Stupid shit. Now here's my intro. Stupid shit. Now here's my... Now here's my... Shit. Now here's... Shit. Now here's my intro. Intro. Hello. Title of the video. Title of the video, 7-year-old murdered in potential... Oh, the Young Turks, you didn't... In potential hate crime. Potential hate crime. Hate crime. Oh, the Young Turks, you didn't racialize it in the title. You're going to let that be a surprise. So instantly, when the Muslim communist douche bro gets on, he's going to racialize it. So why not tell us in the title that it was a white guy that killed a black girl? Why not just say that? That's why you did the video. You know, a wise man once said, "You betray your bias. You betray your bias." Killed a black. In the topics that you select and the framing that you give those topics. Oh, I'm sorry, did I say a wise man once said? I meant a fat man. I meant a fat man once said. So you'd think that this story has something to do with a hate crime. I mean, it's going to devolve into talking about hate crimes, when really it has nothing to do with a hate crime. The basis for calling this video and this event a hate crime is that when asked, the police responded and said, We cannot rule out that it's a hate crime. So in other words, it's non-evidence. There's no evidence that it is a hate crime, but they can't rule it out. An unknown bearded white male in his...
I turned on the light and turned around and looked at my 7-year-old, and she was leaned against the door, and she was not moving. She was not breathing. I knew then that she was gone.
Investigators say a man in a red 4-door pickup truck, seen in this surveillance video, opened fire at the family's car. Jasmine was shot and killed.
This is 7-year-old Jasmine Barnes. She was in a car with her mother and 3 sisters when an unknown bearded white male in his 40s wearing a red sweater pulled up in a red pickup truck and opened fire at the car she was in.
Unknown bearded white male in his 40s wearing a red sweater. Did it have green stripes on it? Was this Freddy Krueger? I don't think Freddy can grow a beard, though. His epidermis took a severe burn, and I don't think it's possible. And I just don't think it's possible. And I just don't think it's possible.
Jasmine died.
Did I cut this man off? Did I make a wrong turn in front of him? Did I stop him from getting out of the Walmart for whatever he was doing? Did I do anything wrong to cause this man to fire shots in my car? And I did it.
It says a lot about our culture when a person randomly decides to gun you down and your first instinct is to blame yourself.
Did I stop?
Wait a minute. Did he just strip her of agency again? Why do regressives feel the need to do this? This woman, in her grief, is asking the question, what did I do wrong? Like, how could I have prevented this? This is a normal thought process. If a friend of yours kills themselves, you ask yourself, what could I have done differently? How could I have done differently? What I have done differently? How could I have altered that course of action? When the answer is, well, you couldn't have potentially, and it was really more about what that other person decided to do. But Hassan just said, what does it say about our culture that this black woman said this? Nothing, Hassan. It says nothing about our culture. I mean, why don't you say, what does it say about this black woman that she feels the need to say this? Because she is the one that said it. Nobody forced her to say it. That is her original thought. Now, I am highly skeptical that we have heard all the information about this story. Random guy in truck just comes up and kills people? In a car? What is this, a hit? This is not normal. So not all the information is in. We don't know, they haven't caught the guy. And we'll find out more later. But that doesn't stop the Young Turks. No, they're going to capitalize off this and assume it's a hate crime. Why? Well, because a white guy killed a black person. Isn't that just automatically a hate crime? It's funny because if it's the other way around, which happens way more often, when a black kills a white, it's very rare that people call that a hate crime. It's very rare that people call that a hate crime. They're like, no, that was just Omar from The Wire shooting someone with a shotgun. Happened to be white. That's not a hate crime. That's just Omar. LaPortia.
But as LaPortia Washington pointed out,
LaPortia Washington. Let me immediately send that name to Phil Anselmo. We are connoisseurs of whimsically original names. La Porsche, it does get into the pantheon. La Mercedes. La Mercedes. Do you think there's a La Mercedes? Do you think there's a La Mercedes out there? What do you mean she did nothing
She did nothing wrong.
wrong? What do you mean she did nothing wrong? Is this listen and believe again? Okay, so it's really interesting that these people are so willing to take things at face value. So she might have done nothing wrong, but why are you saying that definitively? Based off her opinion? Based off her statement? Based off her statement, that's it. I mean, think of that principle. So let's say they catch this guy who shot and killed this kid. And he has a different story. What if he says, La Portia was yelling at me and she was threatening to kill my life, so I thought,
Kill my life.
and she was threatening, so I felt I had to defend myself. She was yelling at me and she was threatening to kill my life, so I felt my life, to kill my life, so I felt I had to defend myself, to kill my life, so I felt I had to defend myself, and I shot at her. She pulled out a gun, in fact. La Portia pulled out a gun, pointed at me, and that's why I shot her car. Now, what if he said that? Should we then say Freddy Krueger did nothing wrong? Oh, I believe the guy. Why? Well, he said it. He said what happened, so I believe him. It's just a really bad omen that these people show no skepticism at all. It's kind of an insight into how their brains work.
Kill my life. Special.
And with no answers as to why this may have happened, the police have not ruled out the possibility that this could be a racially motivated hate crime.
Yeah, and the police have also have also not ruled out the possibility that this could be a Mars invasion. And that the guy who killed this woman, and that the guy who killed this kid could be an alien himself. Haven't ruled that out. So it's potentially a lot of things. And they're running with it. Is this a hate crime? Is this a hate crime? No, there's no evidence of that. None. They have no positive in nature that this. They have nothing to say. They have nothing to say positive in nature that this is positive in nature that this is a hate crime. They're just saying it hasn't been ruled out. And that's enough. That's enough for these guys. They're like, okay, it's a hate crime. What? No.
So let's talk about that for a second. According to recently released FBI crime statistics, 2018 witnessed a 17% increase in reported hate crimes over the previous year, making this the third consecutive year where hate crimes have increased.
Okay, stop. This is not that impressive, actually. To say hate crimes is very much like hate speech. It's questionable that it's even a thing. And the fact that it should be punished any differently is an absurd notion to me. As in, Dylan Roof, what he did was a hate crime. He didn't like black people. He wanted to punish black people. So he killed a bunch of people, and we should throw him in jail. But we should throw him in jail longer. Throw him in jail longer than if he had just killed people for another reason. Killed people for another reason. No. Killing is the crime. More specifically, premeditated killing should be punished as a premeditated killing. That's it. So really all this increase of hate crime is, it doesn't say that there's more hate crimes happening. It says that there's more hate crimes being reported. And this process is shady as hell. There is no checks and balances. There is no verification. You just tell them that it relies on you. It relies on you going to an agency and saying, I was the victim of a hate crime. That's it. It's not the perpetrator admitted it was a hate crime. He said, I did it because I hate this group of people. No. And by the way, hate crimes range from vandalism to murder. Kind of a big spectrum there. So you can bet your ass when they handed out those flyers that said it's okay to be white, they called that a hate crime. Don't lose track of that. So because the narrative is, oh God, I'm special. If someone has a conflict with me, it's probably because of race or my gender or because I'm a trans. And they pretend. They pretend that it's a hate crime. They take a wild guess and say, you know, the person that said that nasty thing to me or had that encounter with me that was confrontational, I'm assuming that I'm going to pretend like I know their intentions, and I'm just going to call it a hate crime. It's just that much more important. So this is a silly category, and there is no category. A silly category, and there is no legitimacy to any of these numbers.
Say hello to the chat. We got Bernie Bro. Moderate it. He's not ashamed. Is Alf, is he still on fire? From her vagina. Hey, Devin, I'd blow you for your information. Thought I was going to say fuck my life. Thanks, Chuck. Not really into that, but if you get a sex change, let me know. Has anyone, even then, don't bother. Has anyone heard if it was the Religion of Peace that stabbed a person on London train today? Oh, London train. Well, I have family in London. Luckily, they don't take the train. So Devin is saying hate crime is a social construct. Someone make a paper on this and you're going to be famous. Yeah, it's a social construct, and it's salesmanship. It's advertising. The concept hate crime. Hate crime. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hate speech. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What's that? It's a new thing. Is it? What is it? It's like an abstract thought, but trust me, it's real. Very real. Hate sex. Is that a thing? I just coined it. There's angry sex, but I'm saying hate sex. Hugs the kangaroo. Well, that is a furry, it would appear to be. It's like the rape thing. They'd rather an innocent man go to jail rather than have a liar not be believed. I'm not sure what he's referencing. You catch the Watson flick. No, not yet. I have not. I'm thinking about popping over to 16th Street and just enjoying a bucket of popcorn and watching one of the worst movies in cinematic history. Sounds like a fun afternoon. Most likely not random terror. I won't chop it off, but I can do a pretty impressive tuck job. All right, well, we have a transvestite. All right, get back to this.
Okay, stop. This is not that impressive.
Collaborate and listen.
And nearly 3 out of 5 of the 7,100 hate crimes reported last year were motivated by race and ethnicity, with black people accounting for almost half of the hate crime victims.
And he just brushed over. He's talking about hate crime when it comes to ethnicity and race. There's a huge amount of hate crime that is based on religion, and the lion's share of that is against Jews. The people who hate Jews, by the way, Muslims and Turks. Black people accounted for nearly half the hate crime victims. Black people accounted for nearly half the hate crime victims last year. That's kind of a misnomer. You're talking about half of the hate crimes dealing with race and ethnicity. And all that tells me is that black people are playing the race card and crying racism every time something happens, which is not surprising. I mean, the Young Turks had this happen to them. They had a black field reporter or some journalist trying to work with TYT, a black guy. He wasn't good at his job, so they fired him, and he sued the Young Turks for racism. I mean, fuck, he could go to the FBI and say that was a hate crime. That's all it takes, guys. And by the way, this is not just the FBI. What has happened in recent years, and what accounts for this uptick of hate crimes, is that the FBI is taking information from other agencies. Unregulated, unmonitored, other agencies. So a group like Black Lives Matter could say, hey, we reported 10,000 hate crimes this year against blacks. Here you go, FBI, include that in the numbers. This has happened. This isn't just one or two agencies. This is 1,000 other agencies. Are sending their completely fabricated numbers to the FBI so that loser propagandists like Brown Fabio can try to take any stat he wants and be like, look, here's what's happening in the world. This is a fucking joke. Here's a New York Times article that Hassan references in this video, talking about hate crimes. It says, reporting hate crimes to the FBI is currently voluntary. And once again, the victims are the ones to determine whether it's a hate crime. You call them up and say, hey, a guy flicked me off today. Okay, and he was a black guy, so it was probably a hate crime. Okay, cool. We'll add it to the list. Last year, roughly 1,000 more agencies submitted data than those that did the previous year. 1,000 more agencies. And again, we're talking about groups like the NAACP. I mean, the Southern Poverty Law Center. Any group you want, send your info to the FBI, they'll tally it up. Does anyone think this is useful at all? Oh, Brown Fabio does.
Okay, we are moving along quite nicely. Recording is in good. I did a shit recording last night. Audio quality was all over the map, but
Now, this increase isn't just due to the tense political climate, but
I don't think the word tense is something that Hassan says. I just don't think that's in his speaking vocabulary. Tense? It sounded weird. It sounded weird. It sounded weird. It sounded stilted. Weird. It sounded stilted. I don't think he knows what stilted means. Say that again. Say that again. It means. Say that again.
Half of the hate crime victims. Now, this increase isn't just due to the tense political climate, but
Came across as really unnatural. Came across as really unnatural. Oh, okay. Okay. More agencies are voluntarily reporting their stuff to the FBI. Came across as really unnatural. Oh, okay. More agencies are voluntarily reporting their stuff to the FBI. Right. Where did I just read that? Oh, right. I read it in the... It came across as really unnatural.
also because more agencies are voluntarily reporting their numbers to the FBI.
Oh, okay. More agencies are voluntarily reporting their stuff to the FBI. Right. Where did I just read that? Oh, right. I read it in the New York Times article. Oh, he probably read the same article. Yeah. This is a graph. Same article. Yeah. This is article. Yeah. This is. Oh, yeah. It's right here. I read it in the New York Times article. Oh, he probably read the same article. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's right. Yeah. Probably read the same article. Oh, yeah. It's right here. Remember reporting hate crimes in the FBI is currently voluntary? Let me scroll up. But where did he get that whole tense political? Oh. But let me scroll up. Oh. But let's scroll up here and see what else. What is this? What is this? In addition to the tense political climate. Now what did you say? In addition to the tense political climate. So you, in other words, lifted the exact wording from this New York Times article, and didn't mention that. You are reading, you're cheating. I think there's a word for this, fancy word. I think it's called plagiarism. Plagiarism? I mean, you did steal my joke about Ben Shapiro and him playing the violin, and him playing Schindler's List on the violin. You did steal my format and the style of reaction video that I do, and you admitted to it. But now you're just stealing lines from the New York Times. But now you're just stealing lines from the New York Times. Brown Fabio, if you're going to lift something, at least paraphrase it. Or you could just say, I'm reading what this New York Times guy wrote.
But in every tally of hate crimes, black people are severely overrepresented.
Let me rephrase that. But in every tally of reported hate crimes, black people are severely overrepresented. Yeah, because they bitch about racism all the time. And because they are fueled by outlets such as yourself telling them that everything is racist all the time. And the chart you're showing us is showing a steady decline of the percentage of blacks being victims of hate crime. Care to mention that? It's at its lowest level in 20 years, Hassan. I know that doesn't really fit well with your when Trump got into power, the hate crimes went up narrative. It's actually when Trump got in power, the hate crimes went down as a percentage of blacks being the victims of it. All this shows is that, yeah, when you add 1,000 new agencies reporting whatever the fuck they want about whatever perceived hate crime they think crime they think hate crime they think happened to them, yeah, the numbers will reflect that. Who cares? There isn't any there.
Wow, here goes Hassan race baiting again. There's no such thing as systemic racism, dude.
There isn't any such thing. There isn't any such thing. What are you even talking about? What system, Hassan? The systemic system of institutional structures? What are you talking about? Yes, black people pretend like they were. Yes, black people pretend like they are the victims of hate crimes. Great. So, who cares? Sometimes you run into a situation where you call it a double-edged sword. Or just for short, you could say it's double-edged.
Grant is in the house. He's talking about running backs are at most 13. Running backs are at most 13. He's talking about recruiting 13-year-olds to being running backs. Teams aren't going to pay 20 a year for running backs. That's expendable. And he's talking football. He's talking about the budget decisions made about how many millions you're going to pay a guy who's one tweaked ankle or knee away from being redundant. The league learned that from Adrian Peterson, former running back for Oklahoma. 2 ACLs, yeah. Who was talking about that? LeBron James was saying that the NFL players and the NFL ownership, it's like they're slave masters. Sign me up for that brand of slavery anytime you want.
This is an expression that is used in chess sometimes. And what it means is you might make a move in chess that is offensive in nature. You might take a risk, sacrifice a piece, send in all, go on a full attack to try to checkmate your opponent. But as you're doing that, it's double-edged because you're not making defensive moves. You're not addressing the threats coming back against you. So while you are being aggressive and offensive, you're opening yourself up to being attacked and potentially checkmated yourself. Hassan is a moron. He doesn't understand that if you want to talk about black people and crime, that's a double-edged proposition. The only context he wants to talk about black people and crime is when black people are the victims of the most crimes. Yeah, there's no problem with black people and crime. They're not committing a lot of crimes. No, they're just the victims of crimes. Those poor blacks, fuck whites. So at this point, I could mention the unbelievably large Jurassic-sized elephant in the room, which is that black people commit a fucking ton of crime. So this insane narrative that, oh, the poor blacks are being victimized. Incorrect, sir. They are the perpetrators of the most crimes, of more crimes than any race, of more by a huge amount. And even when it comes to hate crimes, he references a study. You know that graph he just posted? He got that graph from this article from NBC News. It was written by Janelle Ross, who is a blacktivist. Here she is. Light-skinned black woman, mulatto, identity crisis, fist up. I wonder what her slant is on. Anyway, she writes an article. And in that article, see, there's the graph right there. And right above the graph, they say, violence, property crime. The graph right there. Violence, property crimes, threats, and other offenses inspired by racial animus amounted to the most frequent type of hate crime, reported in the FBI's most recent tally of bias crimes. But then, do you notice that the FBI's most recent tally, all that, is in blue? It's a weird choice to put it in blue. I mean, why? Most text is in black. But they put that in blue. Oh, wait a minute. It could be a hyperlink? Hold on. Oh, shit. It's a link. Oh, it's a link to the actual FBI study. Oh, Hassan. Did you think someone was going to do this? Oh, poor baby. So we come to the FBI. It's 2017. Hate crime statistics. And we got the victims and we got the offenders. I mean, the victims is interesting. To me, it just says, who are the people that report that they're the victims of hate crimes most? It doesn't really mean much. And it says here that 48%, within the single bias hate crime incidents, based on race, ethnicity, or ancestry, 48.6% were victims of crimes motivated. 48.6% were victims of crimes motivated by their offenders' anti-black or African American bias. Okay, so blacks are complaining, and oh yes, it's racist. Everything's racist. Now, 17.1% were victims of anti-white bias. Oh, that didn't get a mention. Interesting. Completely overlooked. And by the way, that number will rise. I wonder if Jared Taylor at the American Renaissance wants to report white hate crimes to the FBI. I mean, out of that 1,000 new agencies reporting crimes, how many of them are people of color-centric organizations? How many white advocacy groups are reporting their, quote, hate crimes? So that's interesting, but we're talking about the victims. That's kind of pathetic. It's kind of a regressive place to be. Oh, we're the victims. Who are the victims? Just claim you're a victim, and then I'll care for you. Claim you're a victim, and then I'll care for you. And then I'll care for you because I'm so empathetic. Who are the perpetrators? That's the heart of the issue. That's the problem. Enough of this fucking victim Olympics. Let's get to the root of it. Who's doing this? Now, the Young Turks are suggesting that, oh, it's white people. Obviously, it's whites. I mean, the blacks, they're complaining a lot. They're saying they're the victims of hate crimes. Then it must be whites. Let's find out. Offenders. Did you click this one, Hassan? Did you click it? By race, ethnicity. By race. In 2017, race was reported for 2017, 2017, race was reported for 6,370 known hate crime offenders. Of these offenders, 50.7% were white. Boom. Boom. That is a huge amount. Oh my God. That's the number one amount. 50%. Over half. Over half were whites. 21.3% were black or African American. Wait, black people are the perpetrator? They're 63% whites, but they're only committing 50.7% of the hate crimes? They're committing less hate crimes than... They're committing way less hate crimes than... Oh no, wait a minute. Blacks are 13.2% of the country, but they're committing 21.3% of the hate crimes? So they're committing more... Wait, blacks can commit more crimes than other groups? Even hate crimes? Okay, so let's normalize this. What is 63% divided by 13.2? That is 4.77 times 77. So there are 4.7 times as many whites as there are blacks. So if there were the same amount of blacks as there are whites, the blacks' numbers would completely eclipse the white numbers when it comes to hate crimes. Anyone shocked? Oh, by the way, fun fact, blacks commit more crimes on every crime than whites, except for jaywalking and drunk driving. Every other crime, this is the trend. So don't be shocked. Wait, Devin. Have you done it all? You know what's weird? Wait a minute, Devin. You know what's weird? Wait, Devin. You know what? Wait a minute, Devin. You know what's weird? You know who's been just stellar citizens? The Hispanics. You know how I know that? They're not even listed in this hate crime. You got whites, you got blacks, you got Native Americans, Hawaiians they're talking about. Ethnicity. Oh, interesting. 25% were in the ethnic category not Hispanic or Latino. Huh? What? So 25% were not Mexican, so they were white. That's the white group? Whites are 25% of these hate crimes. And they're 63% of the country. Holy shit. 8.8% were Hispanic or Latino. Oh Lord. Oh fucking Lord. So if you do want to talk about hate crimes, how about you report that black people commit way more hate crimes than they should, and white people commit way less than you'd expect? They're not a problem. Hassan, I'm gonna beat your bitch ass like this all year. You communist bitch. Get used to this, motherfucker. And good luck with your crippling insecurity. You're dumb as shit.
Look into my eyes, don't you see that open well?
shouting institutional racism does not actually combat racism. You have to find individual instances, and you have to show me who the racists are so that we can fight them together.
Okay, I won't talk about the criminal justice system or voter ID laws.
You just did. What about the criminal justice? What about... Yeah, a bunch of blacks are committing crimes and they get thrown in jail. What's your point? Voter ID laws? Okay, we can talk about that. That's a minor point. And that's basically done on political lines. That's Republicans rigging the system so that Republicans get into office. It's not racial. It's not racial.
But let's consider the fact that a bipartisan anti-lynching bill was introduced in the Senate this year. An anti-lynching bill in 2018.
Yeah, that's my point. What are you talking about, anti-lynching? It's illegal to lynch someone. What is this? Symbolic nothingness?
What's next? Anti-slave?
The 13th Amendment to the Constitution makes it unconstitutional for someone to be held as a slave. There are exceptions, including criminals.
Oh my God, he cuts to the... What a fucking stupid, cringy attempt at a point. Oh yeah, the 13th Amendment, man. Slavery's Amendment, man. Slavery is not even abolished because we still... And slavery, man. 13th Amendment, man. Slavery's not even abolished because we still have crime. Because we still have prisons. What, I mean, Jesus Christ, what a fucking waste of time. So because the language used the word slavery, you're pretending that chattel slavery from hundreds of years ago is the same as putting a prisoner in a jail? Wow, that's an incredible point. Ride that horse for as long as you can.
The Justice for Victims of Lynching Act of 2018 notes that during the first half of the 20th century, nearly 200 attempts to pass anti-lynching legislation failed to gain support from the Senate despite the urging of 7 sitting presidents.
And now we're going to a black and white photo of white people talking about race mixing?
Because...
Hassan, this is so sad. It's so fucking sad, man. You're talking about lynching? It's so fucking sad. You're talking about lynching? Who the fuck is in favor of lynching? You're not allowed to kill people, Hassan. What are you doing? Uh-oh, Hassan, were you triggered by that sign? Race mixing is communism? What the hell does that mean?
States' rights. Not racist, by the way. So in a country where even this kind of symbolic protection takes decades to achieve...
Symbolic protection? No, pointless virtue signaling. It's not necessary, therefore it doesn't go through. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of money.
It's understandable why black people would fear for their safety.
Ah, fear for their safety from whom, Hassan? I wonder if there's a stat that talks about who kills black people the most. Let's go ask black people. Who are you fearing? Hey, blacks. Ask black people. Ask black people. Hey, blacks. Are you fearing for your safety? Really? From who? White people? Or black people? Considering that 94% was it of the time it's a black killing a black. Hey, Hassan. Have you glanced at the stats of Chicago killing this year? Here's the final numbers from 2018. Shot and killed, 495. Shot and wounded, 2,466. The total shot, 2,961. Total homicides, 588. That's in one city. And that's 90-something% blacks. Killing blacks. What were you talking about? Fearing for their safety? What was it? Safety? What was it? Hey Hassan, here's a graph. It's from US News. It's called Interracial Killings. Whites killed by blacks. Blacks killed by whites. Oh no, but there's no such thing as structural racism. And what do you call this, Hassan? What do you call this? How does this fit in with your narrative? Blacks are killing whites way more than whites are killing blacks. That's funny. Except it's not funny. But it's weird how you cover stories where a white killed a black. And yet you ignore the fact that blacks kill whites. What is that? Over 3 times as much? Get some, bitch. Go film yourself doing some more deadlifts, Hassan. Hairy bitch.
And while a manhunt is currently underway for Jasmine Barnes's...
Why is it that you can't pronounce Jasmine? What is Jasmine? Jasmine? You said Jasmine fine earlier. Is that how your brain works? You mispronounce a name that you've already nailed? Jasmine. No, it's Jasmine.
killer, authorities say they have very few leads. Luckily, Sean King has stepped in and is offering a $35,000 reward to...
Oh God, Sean King is the role model. Sean King is an absolute disgrace and a disaster of a human being. He's a pot-bellied white guy who is a self-righteous fuck. Sean King is a profound bitch. Sean King.
Whoever turns in the murderer. And you can contact them confidentially at seanking@gmail.com, or you can contact the Harris County Sheriff's Office directly with more information. There's also a GoFundMe page for the family where you can offer...
Cha-ching! Oh, now that's interesting. Tell people that you're the victim of a hate crime and then beg for money. Great.
for support as well. So please, let's support Jasmine Barnes' family, and let's do everything we can to bring her killer to justice. But let's also stop lying to ourselves and pretending that black people in the United States aren't the targets of violence based on racial animosity that dates back centuries.
Everything we can? I think the cops got this covered, Hassan. Yeah. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so black people are the targets of racial animosity, acts of violence and stuff. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're at a 20-year black animosity. Yeah, they're at a 20-year low of being the targets of racial animosity. Oh, and by the way, they're the perpetrators of racial animosity, committing way more than they should be. Committing way more than they should be. They're overrepresented as the perpetrators of hate crime. Oh, by the way, they're overrepresented as the perpetrators of every crime. Oh, and by the way, the people that are attacking black people and causing and inflicting violence upon black people are other fucking black people. So it has nothing to do with your black and white photos and fuck those whites from 100 years ago. Nice try, Hassan. This shit is easy as pie. Go lie down in the fetal position, commie. Go lie down, you communist bitch. You suck at this, Hassan. You're a fake. You're a fraud. You have no idea what you're doing. This has been UCLA flexing on Rutgers. Don't act surprised. I'll see you next time. And now, watch a very artfully crafted music video I did. Very artsy. Because I have range like that. Good luck with those deadlifts, bitch. Good luck with those deadlifts, you fucking loser. Good luck with those deadlifts, bitch. Good luck with those dead. Yeah. Yeah.
It's crashing. It's in the middle of a crash. My lips are chapped beyond belief.
Brown Fabio is back saying stupid shit. Now here's my intro. But this is a new record for me. This is an all-time low. This is the worst case of race baiting I've ever seen in a single video. This should be borderline considered a criminal offense, what they're doing. There should be social ramifications. Ironically, there should be social justice for dickholes like the Young Turks when they go about race baiting to this degree. What they are doing is, look at the latest video that they just did. Okay, it's called Closing Your Garage Door While Black Now Gets Death Penalty. Now let's think, how many ways is the headline bullshit?
You never let it out.
Cow anus.
The N-word.
You never let it out.
Cow anus. Brown Fabio is back saying Brown Fabio is back saying stupid shit. Now here's my intro.
You never let it out.
Cow anus.
The N-word.
So the headline.
Wearing a red sweater pulled up in a red pickup truck.
Title of the video, 7 years.
Up in a red pickup truck.
Oh, I'm sorry, did I say a wise man once said? I meant.
Before we go on with more of their nonsense. All right, so first of all, you can write any article you like. And first of all, right, so the topics that you select. and the framing that you give those topics. So
Say that. Say that. That's why you did the video. You know, a wise man once said, you betray your bias in the topics that you select and the framing that you give those topics.
all right, so first of all, you can write any article you like, and you betray your bias in the topics that you select and the framing that you give those topics.
I'm sorry, did I say a wise man once said? I meant a fat man once said. So you'd think that this story has something to do with
Wearing a red sweater, pulled up in a red pickup truck.
an unknown bearded white male in his I don't think it's possible.
And opened fire at the car she was in. Jasmine died.
Did I cut this man off? I did it.
Says a lot about our culture when a person randomly decides to gun you down and your first instinct is to blame yourself. But instinct is to blame yourself. Instinct is to blame yourself. To blame yourself. To blame yourself.
Wait a minute. Did someone with a shotgun happened to be white? That's not a hate crime. That's just Omar.
Portia Washington pointed out she
White. That's not a hate crime. That's just Omar.
But as LaPortia Washington
It's not a hate crime. That's just Omar.
But as LaPortia Washington pointed out, she
Omar.
But as LaPortia Washington pointed out,
LaPortia Washington.
Quite a bit, inferred
Yes,
some,
that was
and
abortion.
just kind of
when a
curious
woman's
if
life is
you'd
not threatened.
like to either expound upon that.
My arm, they sped off and they came to husband's mother, LaPortia Washington, who said, as I turned around and looked back at the street, this is during the attack, I heard shots start firing.
Oh, Jesus.
To Phil Anselmo.
They came to LaPortia Washington, but we do know a little bit about what happened. Happened in the situation thanks to interviews with Jasmine's mother, LaPortia Washington, who said, as I turned around and looked back at the street, this is during the attack, I heard shots start firing. .
Phil Anselmo.
But we do know a little bit about what happened in the situation thanks to interviews with Jasmine's mother, LaPortia Washington, who said, as I turned around and looked back at the street, this is during the attack, I heard shots start firing.
She did nothing wrong, and with no answer. First instinct is to blame yourself, but as LaPortia Washington pointed out, she did nothing wrong.
You're connoisseurs of
nothing wrong.
What do you mean she did nothing wrong? Into how their brains work.
And with no answers as to why this may have happened, the police have not ruled out the possibility that this could be a racially motivated hate crime. Hate crime. Hate crime.
Yeah, and the police have also No.
So let's talk about that for a second. According to recently released FBI crime statistics, 2018 witnessed a 17% increase in reported hate crimes over the previous year, making this the and nearly 3 out of 5 of the 7,100 were motivated by race and ethnicity, with Black people accounting for almost half. Victims. Victims.
Okay, stop. A silly category, and there is no legitimacy to any of these numbers.
Now, this increase isn't just due to the climate, but also because tense political climate, but also because
he just brushed over. He's talking about hate crime when it comes to
increased, and nearly 3. But also because
now this increase isn't just due to the Say that again.
Now, this increase isn't just due to the tense political climate, but political climate. Now, this increase isn't just due to the tense political climate, climate
It came across as really
climate.
Oh, okay. More agencies are voluntarily reporting. Now, what did you say? Now, what did you say?
Now this increase political climate.
In addition to the tense political climate. So you, in other words, wrote.
Because more agencies are voluntarily reporting their numbers to the FBI, but in
addition to the tense political climate.
tense political climate, but also because this increase isn't just due to the Now this increase isn't just due to the tense political climate, but also because more agencies are voluntarily reporting their numbers to the FBI.
Let me rephrase that. But in every tally of
tense political climate.
Oh, okay. More agencies
are voluntarily reporting their numbers to the FBI.
Oh, okay. More did you say?
Now this increase isn't just due to the tense political climate.
In addition to the tense political climate. So you, in other words, lifted
But in every tally of hate crimes, black people are severely overrepresented.
Who cares?
Wow, here goes Hassan race baiting again. There's no such thing as systemic racism, dude.
There isn't any such thing.
Damn. That's a lot. It's another half-an-hour video.
And good luck with your crippling insecurity. You're dumb as shit.
Shouting institutional racism. You can fight them together.
Okay, I won't talk about the criminal justice system or voter ID laws, but
You just did. What about the racial?
But let's consider the fact that a bipartisan anti-lynching bill was introduced in the Senate this year. An anti-lynching bill in 2018? What's next?
Yeah, that's my point.
criminals.
Oh my God, he cuts again.
The Justice for Victims of Lynching Act of 2018 notes that during the first half of the 20th century, nearly 200 attempts to pass anti-lynching
And now we're going to black and white photo. Race mixing is communism? What the hell does that mean?
rights, not racist, by the way. So in a country where even this kind of symbolic protection takes decades to achieve, it's understandable why it's understandable.
Symbolic protection? Waste of money.
It's understandable why black people would fear for their safety.
Oh, fear for their safety. Scary bitch.
And while a manhunt is currently underway for safety.
Oh, fear for their safety. Bitch.
And while a manhunt is currently underway for Jasmine Barnes' killer,
why is it that you can't pronounce Jasmine? What is Jasmine?
and while a manhunt is currently underway for Jasmine Barnes' killer.
Jasmine? You said Jasmine Fine earlier. Is that how your brain works? Is that how earlier? And earlier.
Jasmine.
This is 7-year-old Jasmine Barnes.
Fine earlier.
This is 7-year-old Jasmine Barnes. And while a manhunt is currently underway for Jasmine Barnes' killer.
Is that how your brain works? You mispronounce a name that you've already nailed? Jasmine. No, it's Jasmine.
Authorities
Jasmine.
Authorities say they have very few leads. Luckily, Sean King has stepped in and is offering a $35,000 reward to whoever turns in the murderer.
Bitch.
And you can contact them confidentially at Sean King at Harris County Sheriff's Office directly with more information.
Cha-ching. Oh, now that.
Can offer support as well. So please, let's support Jasmine Barnes' family.
Cha-ching. Oh, now that's interesting. Great.
And let's do everything we family.
Cha-ching. Oh, now that's interesting. Tell people that you're the victim of a hate crime and then beg for money. Great.
And let's do everything we can to bring your killer to justice.
everything we can? I think the cops got this covered, Hassan.
But let's also stop. But let's also stop. But let's also stop lying to ourselves and pretending that black people in the United States aren't the targets of violence based on racial animosity that dates back centuries.
Fucking loser. Good luck with those deadlifts, you fucking loser. Brown Fabio is back saying stupid shit. Now here's my intro.
You never let it out.
Cow anus.
The N-word.
Brown Fabio is back saying stupid shit. Now here's my intro.
You never let it out.
Cow anus. What should I have for lunch? That's a great question. Mexican, Middle Eastern, Subway? Taking on. My rating is way low. I've been playing badly, apparently. Castling this side. Okay. That's nice. Very nice. Defend that. Take. Take back. Defend. Pawn is open. With tempo here. He comes here. Oh. Defending. Let's defend here. Let's free up this. Oh god. So angry. Queen's not doing much over here. Could come here. Oh. He's hungry for that, but I'm not going to allow it. He's going to move there anyway. I'll take. I'll come here, threaten here. You're really tripling up? I'll nestle there. Reverse nestle. If he comes here, I'm taking. If he comes here, I'm taking here, threatening this pawn. Why did he go there? Huh. Okay. flavorful. Pressure here, potential threat here. Denying that square for this. He forgot about this. 24 seconds. Pressure. Oh. Revealed check incoming. That's defended here. He comes. Oh, he just takes. Just takes. Why did I do that? Was that mate in the corner? Fucking hell. Oh shit. That's mate. No. It's not mate. I win.